An Italian boy giving flowers to an American soldier whose tank had stopped on the edge of Rome, Italy in June 1944. A boy sitting in the wreckage of a building shortly after a bombing raid of London during World War II. The photograph was taken in January 1945. On the 13th of April 1985, Danuta, a woman of Polish Jewish origin, whose mother had been put in a concentration camp during the Second World War, hit a neo-Nazi of a new defunct Nordic Reich party on the head with a handbag in Sweden. In 1967, the Detroit riots begin, in what is considered one of the bloodiest riots in the US, as 43 people died and more than 1,400 were injured. In the 17th and 18th century, boys usually 6 years old were purchased from their poverty-stricken parents by a master sweep in England. These boys would become chimney sweeps. Children would climb up chimneys using their elbows, back and knees. Unfortunately, some children would get stuck and never get out. In 2004, Shrek the sheep is finally sheared. The sheep was hiding for 6 years from shearers because of his strong dislike of getting haircuts, and was eventually found. The sheep's fleece weighed a record 60 pounds at the time. The shearing was viewed by millions live on TV. George and Willie Muse were black albino identical twins, who had the misfortune of being born in the Jim Crow American South. They were kidnapped, told to grow out their hair, and forced into the circus freak show life as the Men from Mars. Martin Laurello, the human owl, could turn his neck a full 180 degrees. He appeared at Sam Renger's freak show on Coney Island. The serial killer's 175-year-old head in a jar. Olivia Oatman was born a Mormon, but after her family was slaughtered by Native Americans, she became a Mojave tribeswoman. Japanese Emperor Hiroshi inspects military acoustic aircraft locators, used to detect planes by the sounds of their engines in the days before radar, sometime prior to the end of World War II. Enos the chimpanzee lies in his flight couch before being inserted into NASA's Mercury 5 Atlas V space capsule, in which he would become the first primate to orbit the Earth in November 29, 1961. A pile of American bison skulls sits at an unspecified location, waiting to be ground into fertilizer, sometime around the mid-1870s. Joe Araday gives his toy train to another inmate before he's taken to the gas chamber in 1939. Called by the warden the happiest prisoner on death row, Araday had an IQ of 46. He was pardoned 72 years later after his execution, when it was revealed that the local police had coerced a false confession from him. James Naismith, the inventor of the basketball, holds an early ball and basket used for the game at an unspecified date, sometime prior to 1939. A soldier sprays the interior of an Italian house with a mixture of DDT and kerosene in order to control malaria during World War II, 1945.